Hello everyone, I'm Slow Rider. This is my world. This is my face again. I've just done it on another walk, basically. Gotta go and get some milk, because without milk you can't have tea. And as I got a kettle specially for making tea, I want to have tea, so I've got to get milk. And a few other bits and pieces. I had considered getting a loan bike. I wasn't quite sure how it was going to work out, though, which is why I didn't. And I still don't think it's going to work out, to be honest. We're now, what day is it? Tuesday. So we are 4 days after the accident. This is, yeah, 4 or 5 days. I'm really losing track of time at the minute, but that's how much time I've lost of this trip, basically. And yeah, it's made one thing impossible to do that I really want to do, so I'm going to save that for another year. Wells Ferry ferries every week. Not got the time, so we're going to have to go home before I've had a chance to do it, which is a shame. Never mind. Might open up other opportunities. But yeah, I phoned the garage this morning to inquire about whether the loan bike would cost me money or whether it's like a courtesy bike. And I don't think they were that good at English, which is fair enough. It's not their first language. But the impression I got was that I would have to pay for it, so I thought, and then they said the parts actually arrived yesterday evening. They're supposed to arrive today. They arrived yesterday evening. They're going to try and get the bike fixed today, but failing that, maybe tomorrow, which is earlier than I thought it would be. We'll see what they can do. So yeah, so I decided to put off getting the lease bike because there's no real point, is there? I kind of like that I've got this hotel where it is, because I get walks like this where there's so much scenery around. And yeah, there's main roads and whatnot, and it smells of shit, but that shit mostly. Yeah, but it beats being in town. High-rise buildings and crap like that. This is better. This is nature. I'm feeling a lot better. An awful lot better. To the extent that I'm no longer thinking I just want to go straight home, which is nice in a way. I'm looking at the possibility of joining up with what would have been my route home. That might work out quite well. There's a couple of areas of Germany that have some nice roads by the looks of it, so if I can worm them into the route somehow, actually make a trip of this. I was looking at 18 days travelling, 18 videos, or something of that nature. It's going to be nowhere near that long now. But we'll see, maybe. It's a very odd position to be in this, you know. I'm used to, when I've been away somewhere, I've had a plan, or the ability to make plans, or that sort of thing, you know. Which side of the road am I going on? I should probably go on, oh god, which side? This side? Head on this side. Walk into traffic, I should remember that. Yeah, so I'm kind of looking at where I can meet up with the route home. And then continuing on that path. I mean, the ride here wasn't that exciting, to be honest. You'll have seen most of it probably in one video. Maybe two. I might be able to split it up, but I suspect it's going to be a little boring. We'll see. Be positive, think positive. What's the best thing that could happen? Right, that's a stretch, isn't it? feeling hopeful. I think that's possibly the best way to put it. I'm feeling much brighter now. I've had a couple of nights of good sleep. Still a couple of concerns to work out, but nothing major. All being well, I'll be on my way home. Well, not on my way home, but back on the road. That's a better way to say it. Back on the road fairly soon. Got all my files downloaded to my laptop, except these ones, obviously. Ready for editing and things like that. And not quite sure how I'm going to drop this all together, to be honest. Guess that's a decision I can make when I've looked it all back and gone, oh, that's terrible. I think maybe I should walk more often. I know it's another boring video, I'm sorry, I'm walking down a path. And now I'm doing that bitch thing where I apologise for things. Sorry about that. It is what it is, I guess. Yeah, it's not a huge amount of news at the minute. Still waiting for my bike. But I guess so long as I'm feeling happy about it, you know. And I'm able to keep up with all the YouTube stuff while I'm not riding the bike, which is nice. Get to see everyone else's work and, you know, can work on mine a bit more. Currently working on episode 7 of my Scotland tour. I know you'll have seen it by now if I've bothered putting it up, the Saturday's social ride. At this point that I'm speaking to you, the camera, I don't know how I'm going to do it, so or where I'm going to put it in. New Biker said to me that it should be reasonably close because that will stay topical, which is a fair point. But I suspect by the time I get it done, everyone else is going to have done theirs, and so mine's going to be not that exciting. The sound issue on the video file is kind of annoying as well because I didn't use my 360 camera, and that would have solved it, or at least most of it. Never mind. Experiencing all that, next year I'll do better. Yeah, I don't know, I think that's everything that's going on at the minute. It's all very simple and yet very complicated. Very, very busy, yet there's nothing to do. I want my bike back. I've got past I want to go home, now I want my bike back. That's progress, I guess. I looked over the video of my accident a couple of times. Not on the day, I did it afterwards. And it's a dangerous thing to do because you start analysing. What could you do differently? Learn for next time, you know, all that sort of stuff. And I have to remind myself of a conversation I had with my brother, who's on the Thought a Lot channel, and he basically said it doesn't matter what other people say they would have done in that situation because they weren't in that situation. They never will be in that situation. They may have a similar situation, but it's not going to be that one. And I have to keep reminding myself of that, is that that situation is never going to happen again. There might be situations like it, but that one's not going to happen. So what I think I might do in that situation again basically means nothing. There are still things to take from it, undoubtedly. But I can't say, oh well, I'm going to do this differently, I'm going to do that differently. I could say maybe, well, here's a type of skill I could try and learn. Maybe there'll be a time in the future where that skill will be important. Maybe. The reality is I had a second or 2 seconds to make a decision to avoid a rock that was basically in my path. That's it. A rock that shouldn't have been there, a rock that I don't think I could have envisaged being there. So you have that first moment of, oh my god, there's something in the road. Then, oh, what is that thing in the road? And then, what am I going to do about that thing that's in the road that I'm heading straight towards, that I'm looking at? By the time you've done all that, you've hit it. And that's the thing. What could I have done differently? Basically nothing. I can analyse it now and go, oh, I should have moved here, I should have done this, I should have done that, but it makes no odds. Makes no odds at all. Because even if there is a similar situation with a rock in the road, well, the rock's not going to be in the same place, is it? Very unlikely to be in exactly the same place. Sure, the centre of the lane is probably more likely than the wheel tracks. But who's to say that something won't drop off the back of the van that's just gone past? You've got the same amount of time to deal with it. And you don't have a huge amount of control as to, in that situation, how much time you've got, because unless you slow down to increase that gap, and why would you? Because it was a healthy gap. Unless you're going to slow down and create that gap, you don't have that any extra time for that. So it's not healthy to think about these sorts of things. That's what I've decided. So I'm going to try not to. Try is a bad word. I'm not going to think about these things. I'm going to get my bike back. I'm going to have more riding, good riding, good exciting days on the road. Get to make some videos out of them, some good videos at that. And it'd be fun. As my brother would say, because I definitely don't say this anymore, what's the worst that could happen? No, I want to be positive. I want to look at this and see it as well, yes, it's a learning experience, but kind of way of just sort of saying, you know, shit happens. Let's move on. Let's create bigger and better things. Yeah, I think that's today's little lesson, today's learning point. And here we go, back on the road. And hopefully with sound. So, a little bit more expensive than I thought. But it seems that, well, when the policewoman picked the bike up when I'd had the accident, there was some fluid came out. I thought it was fuel. It might be fuel. There's quite a bit missing. It might also have been oil. So they've had to top that up. They've had to do a little bit of work, but 1,500 euros-ish. I am broke. She feels good though. Do have to be careful though, because it is moist, and I have a brand new front tyre. Back to the hotel for tonight, I think. It's over by that big egg. Actually short speed I'm supposed to be doing here. Is it 80? Okay, I can speed up a bit. Not too much though, my junction is coming up. Right, let's lock her up. Okay, well, we finally have the bike back. It has a new wheel, new front tyre, and I thought today I've got a whole day to test out the bike because I've got another night in this hotel pre-booked, and I forgot to do up my helmet, which is a terrible decision. So I figured before I go charging off back onto my European adventure, it will be a wise idea to see if the bike feels right. Obviously, it gives me a chance to scrub in the front tyre as well. So stand up, I did. So let's see how she feels. Well, this may have been a bad choice. Why anyone was stationary there. I'm going to be honest. I know I need to do this. I know I need to get on the bike. I know I need to ride it. I need to break that negative thought of shit's going to happen. But at the same time, I am really not enjoying this. And tomorrow I've got to get back on with my journey. Gotta start heading home. Well, I mean, nearly start heading home. I've got a couple of days maybe where I can do something, but I'm not finding this fun. I woke up this morning. I was actually looking forward to today. Get out there, go and do the ride. You know, just have a little ride around. 200 k's, about 125 miles, I think. Nice car. You know, wear the front tyre in, all that lovely stuff. And yeah, this morning was just, what if I hit another rock? What if this happens? What if that happens? What if the other happens? And I feel so, well, not anxious. Anxious well, no, it would have been then. I don't feel anxious now. It's different, but it was definitely anxiety before. I'm trying to force myself to do this ride, because if I don't, I'll wake up tomorrow and I won't want to do the ride, and I've got to do the ride tomorrow, or book another night in the hotel, which I don't want to do because it's okay. It's just not great. It's kind of odd. I've had accidents in the UK and I felt like, yeah, I can get back on the bike, I can do it. Although they've all been low speed, this is... I'm going to say it's scary. These tight turn junctions are not helping, because it's a new tyre on the front. It's not just the new wheels, the new tyre as well. Because the old tyre would have been far too compromised to use, and it's pissing it down, and I just breaking in a new tyre. I don't like this. I'm going to head back, I think. Oh, but Jesus. This fucking road surface. Such a chicken, such a failure. Because the stupidity is that if I was riding home from work on my CBR or my NC, I would barely think twice about this. I'd be cautious, but you know, I wouldn't see any harm or fault in it, or you know, it wouldn't faze me. And yet here, I don't know. It's just something not right. it's in my head. I know it's in my head, but how do I get rid of it? This is going to take some doing. This really is going to take some doing. I cannot explain the lack of confidence. I mean, the rain will have something to do with it, obviously, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. I better get inside before I get too wet.